Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I ordered the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
If your go-to order is the best order, why change it? Grab a fave like the steak, egg, and cheese bagel or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles and breakfast deliciously at participating McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Have you heard about the 2018 study that showed half of prenatal vitamins tested had unacceptable levels of heavy metals? No? Well, now you have. I'm Kat, mother of 3 and founder of Ritual, the company making traceability the new standard in the supplement industry. I remember staring at my prenatal vitamins and finding all these things I was trying to avoid. High amounts of heavy metals, synthetic colorants, and unnecessary ingredients. So, at 4 months pregnant, I quit my job and started Ritual because I believe that all women deserve to know what they're putting in their bodies and why. I'm so proud of our prenatal vitamin. The ingredients are 100% traceable, it's third-party tested for microbes and heavy metals, and recently received the Purity Award from the Clean Label Project. You see, we trace like a mother because, let's be honest, no one cares quite like a mother. But don't just take my word for it. Trace for yourself with 25% off at ritual.com/podcast.
Steve, the world is full of mystery, and all we need to do is provide the history.
You can't insult the cook on Easter. That's why Jesus was.
Jesus Christ in the Bible insulted the cook.
He insulted Alfredo's lamb chops.
And for that reason, as you aptly put it...
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
That's the untold story.
I would like my face or the Steve and Kyle podcast presence at all of these live shows, whether it be wearing your merch, bringing a large picture of me that also fills my heart with joy. Get our faces in front of those dinosaurs of radio at their live shows. Not you included, Steve.
No. Yeah, of course.
That'd be rude.
That would be very mean.
Dinosaurs of radio.
That's right. That's your cohorts, the dinosaurs themselves.
Big thanks to the rogue ones who came out to the Albany shows over the last couple of days. Saw a lot of Steve and Kyle t-shirts. I saw the original World Tour t-shirt.
Oh, those are classics.
I saw the caricature shirt where I am Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, a lot of people coming up and saying, love the podcast. Who are these guys?
Which is what we've wanted. So The only issue I have with that then, Steve, is I didn't see enough social media interaction with that.
Yeah, I have like 2 pictures on my phone because people came up and they'd have the shirt on, so I'd take a selfie with them, and I just haven't gotten a chance to post them
Well,
yet,
that's on the listeners. Listen,
Yeah.
if you're we've made it clear.
Exactly. I shouldn't have to do your work.
Yeah, if you're making the effort to wear podcast gear to the side gig live shows, so you've already ponied up the exorbitant prices to go see these as someone call them, dinosaurs of radio.
But me not included.
But not Steve included. If you've already paid those crazy rates to see them in the evening, and you wear our gear there just to see Steve, and you don't take a picture and post it, I don't even know why you're wasting your own time. Hashtag garbage merch, either on Facebook or on Twitter, or let us know that you're there wearing it, and Steve will seek you out for a personalized photo and maybe a drink at the bar.
I saw that our friend and show caricaturist Philip was at the show. I would have loved to have met Philip.
No, this is a problem because, and I don't know what it is. Now, there's always a different thing there's always different types of people. Well, I don't want to bother them. It's not a bother when you're literally at an event for the job.
Yeah, that's what I'm there so we can interact.
Yeah, but I think you would prefer it there rather than in an airport terminal.
Oh, I don't care.
But
if you see me in an airport terminal, give me a hello.
This is literally designed for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So Philip, what I'm saying is you're the worst.
Yeah, you chump.
What are you doing, man?
Way to drop the ball, man.
We've paid you so much money.
I mean, $40 maybe?
Why?
$30 maybe?
To design our merch, and you don't even go out of your way to say hello to Steve. Anybody else, if you do that, if you see Steve at a Side Gig live show, and if you happen to see me out, and if you don't say hello, love the podcast, the Side Gig, you're... I don't even know why. You bought merch. You went online and you spent your own money to buy merchandise with our dumb faces and stuff that doesn't make sense. Nobody in a million years is going to understand Pirate Pete Realty shirts. You're wearing it the one day a few people might understand it. And you don't go get a picture.
You don't take advantage.
Or say hello to Steve. And that's what was, it was so nice. You know, last week we were at the Billboard. 8 days ago, we saw our big, beautiful faces.
Still up, by the way, for another 2 weeks. If you happen to be driving through Van Wert. We also need an update from what was his from our friend in Van Wert.
Well, we need Pat.
Pat, yeah, of course.
Pat has to go
Flanagan.
into two places. Mm-hmm. We need Pat to go into Guaranteed Auto. That is where we made a new listener, Karen, who was walking through a parking lot, and Karen was going to hang our poster in Guaranteed Auto's office.
Yeah.
So that better be up there. Pat needs to go in there and fake buy a car. And then...
needs to head down the road to Convoy.
Then he needs to take a 15-minute detour down to Convoy and just head into the side room. I'm assuming that's the ballroom.
I was going to say,
that's where...
The party room, like the separate... Like if you're having a wedding reception or something.
That's where all of the couples in Convoy get married. It's in the big ballroom. And Pat needs to swing in
D's
there.
on Main Street.
D's on Main Street. Pat needs to pull in there and let them know and make sure that our poster is still up. He needs to do that. But, 8 days ago, we had Lynn show up, and all these people are wearing merch, and Lynn drove and it just forced her poor boyfriend into driving way too far.
6 hours.
6 hours each way to come see this billboard. She's wearing her merchandise, and not only that, Steve, she has a... what is that called? A pocketbook?
Yeah.
Like a little bag that you can
book.
carry, whatever, your wallet or chain, whatever. And that had what logo was on that? That was Pirate Pete.
I think that was Pete the Pirate.
Pete the Pirate Realty.
Because you signed that for her.
I did. I signed that, and then that was right after you signed the very first sale of a Steve and Kyle podcast related mini skirt.
Which one was it?
It was
the
Stevie Tortellini because, as Lynn puts it, she bought it because on the butt it said hot, fresh, strange.
Well done, Lynn.
So, Steve...
well done. Now, I'm not sure if Lynn is coming to the radio show, the Side Gigs night show coming up in 6 days in Grand Rapids. But if she does... and she is not wearing that.
Yeah.
That'll be disappointing.
This is the big one, right? This Saturday. This is the home base for the radio show.
It's the granddaddy of them all.
And this is technically the home base for the podcast because the 5 blocks around your home are included in this live show. So I think you're going to see, if you're going this Saturday, this is the Live at Night show on Saturday night, April 20th. It's this week. And you don't bring... your Steve and Kyle merch to get all of your photos taken with Steve, the Side Gig, everybody. You're doing it wrong. I'm hoping my fat head is there.
The best part about this is a lot of times the shirts or the merch, they kind of fly under the radar because if you don't look closely at them, you don't realize. Like Pete the Pirate, nobody on the radio show knows what that is.
Yeah.
So... you get you and a couple of your friends with Pete the Pirate shirts to surround the other guys. They don't even know it, but they're going to look like chumps.
Absolutely. And now this is, if my memory is correct, this is going to be the very first live show for your new co-host, right?
Yes.
I want her to leave there Saturday night, maybe come into work on Monday and say, are we in a rivalry with another radio show? And then when everybody's scratching their heads and saying, what do you mean? I want her to say, well, there's a bunch of shirts and merchandise with a cartoon face of a guy with a cigarette out of his mouth, and
pirate guy.
There was a pirate. There was
a guy making pizza.
There was a weird guy that kind of looked like Steve with a bigger mustache making pizza.
There was a guy that kind of looked like Steve with his arms on backwards, with a shirt that said "Make boobs great again."
There was somebody came up and had a wanted poster for James Brown's legs. And I want her to wonder what possible rivalry is there.
Yeah, I mean that's our marketing campaign. We're going for mass confusion on all levels.
So you have to do this. That's again this Saturday. Tag us in all of that on Facebook, on Twitter. #GarbageMerch. #Invade Grand Rapids. We'll see that this Saturday night. Steve will be there. I will not be there this year, Steve.
I know.
I can't make it work. Yeah. The wife's at work. I'll have the little baby boy at home.
Bring him.
Ooh boy.
Bring him along. Dress him in his Lucky Billy onesie.
I've talked to him, and I don't want this to come off rude. But
was Reed mean?
He is not a fan. He has made it very clear to me that
he does not.
He's going to take a hard pass on the wacky hijinks of the morning show
That's a
crew.
Shame.
Well, I think what happened, is we got a fan of Johnny the Duck and Lisa. And so when you guys in one of your 45 markets or whatever put Johnny the Duck and Lisa out
of business, I apologize.
He wouldn't tolerate that anymore.
Maybe ask him to give it another shot. Hopefully, maybe by next year, maybe he'll be back on board.
So I will not be there, but Steve, you will be there.
I will, and I am obligated to be there.
I can't speak for you. But for me, when we pulled into Van Wert with 10 people in a parking lot and 8 of them wearing our merchandise,
highlight of your podcast career, would you say, or would it have been Boston?
Boston. I mean, walking around that corner, being able to see the Cheers bar and knowing, and then an hour later, there was 8 people there sitting with us at the Cheers bar in Boston,
and a man with a mailman costume on.
Absolutely.
And he didn't seem to understand why you wanted a picture with him.
No, he's still confused. He's still confused in the Cheers bar of why I would. But yeah, that for me that was the highlight. But there's something incredible about being able to see our faces on a billboard. But seeing people wear the merchandise, Steve, does that give you a little kick at your side gig when you see that yet?
Yeah, of course.
Now the guys have obviously I think they know the merch now. They've seen it enough that your co-hosts there, they know what they're looking at. But I want
sometimes
Saturday,
maybe.
Well, again, Pete the Pirate, nobody's going to have any clue.
Yeah, but if you look at it close enough, you'd probably say, "Looks like Kyle." And I think that there must be a reference on there somewhere to the Steve and Kyle podcast, right?
I haven't looked. I'm sure there is. Maybe the website.
We are just terrible at branding.
Yeah, maybe the website somewhere on the bottom. If not, I'm sure we'll fix that. But that needs to happen Saturday. I want it to be invaded. Now, how many people can fit in this little bingo hall you guys are doing the show in?
About 2,300.
2,300 people going to be there.
Boy, let's really make Redbubble work this week.
If there's not, I'll say it, 800 pieces of Steve and Kyle merch there.
I was going to say 20. I was going to say I'd be happy with 20.
1%?
And I need at least one Kyle Fathead.
Yeah.
I would love a Steve Fathead, but I feel like the priority at this event is for the Kyle Fatheads to be shown.
We've tried to get this in motion for a little while. I think it's going to happen. This is the sisterhood of the traveling fathead is what we want to do. No, I want my face on a fathead, kind of like you see on College Game Day for anybody who watches that, or any sporting event really, where in the stands you'll see somebody with just a gigantic face of somebody, either on a stick or whatever, and they're holding it up to distract the players or whoever's out there. Now, I do not want that at this thing Saturday. If you distract the show, you're banned from listening. That is not the goal. Do not do that at all.
But let me tell you, if you happen to get pulled up on stage for a game that we're going to be playing,
sure.
And when somebody says, "Oh, what's your name? What do you do?"
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to drop in a love the show, love the Steve and Kyle podcast.
Please do.
Or for your job, well, I'm a full-time listener to the Steve and Kyle podcast. Boom.
That's it. That's all we want.
That's all it takes. I'll have a slide ready to pull up on the screen that says StephenKyle.com. Subscribe now.
Now, there's a lot of people, a lot of overlap, I think, from the Van Wert Billboard trip who are going to be coming to this live show on Saturday.
Zach will be there. Zach will definitely be there because
Yep.
I sent him some tickets the other day.
Yep, the CEO and vice president of the Lucky Billy Candy Co-op is going to be there, and Zach, I believe both brothers Humphrey are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we've also got the travelers who are coming into town for this, who listen to our program. Nikki obviously going to be there, taking the trip out here. I believe Marcy's going to be there. Leanne, friend of the podcast, Leanne is going to be there. Maybe you can finally meet Steve Kyle. I doubt he'll be at the live show, though.
Probably not. But I mean, the kid's like a year and a half old by now.
I mean, it's about time, right? I mean, get him out there.
Yeah.
Give him a late night with mommy and daddy drinking too much.
Yeah. Like 4 or 5 months, however old Reed is.
Yeah.
It's a bit young.
Yeah.
But,
closer to a year. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see. All of your Steve and Kyle merch, please wear it. Have Steve, if he hasn't already, have Steve sign it, for crying out loud. And don't let those goons, turn around when you're taking a picture. You paid, and I'll say it, way too much.
Agreed.
To be at this thing on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And if you let, these aging dinosaurs of a dying industry, plus Steve,
right? Yeah. Okay. Good.
Turn around and turn their backs on you in the middle of a picture, you demand a refund.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But anyway, boy, we digress, Steve. I didn't even allow you to introduce the program properly, and we know that bothers Nikki to no end.
It is Sunday, April 14th, 2019, the year of our Lord. 10:11 a.m. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast.
It's early.
Episode number 100-something.
Yeah, 1+.
140.
Yeah.
40.
Now, it's an early one,
Sixer.
Steve, because I have things going on today, and by things, I mean it's Masters Sunday.
Is that tennis? They do the... No, I'm thinking...
Steve, it's the biggest golf tournament of the year.
Is it the granddaddy of them all?
Again, that's not golf related, but they're at Augusta National. My boy Tiger Woods making a run for the money, so I request, hey, get there a little early. They had to move the tee times up. So we're podcasting today around adjusted Masters Golf Tournament tee times. But asking you to put it on the...
what? I stopped listening as soon as you said words.
Now I'm following it live here. Tiger, he's on the green at 3 after a poor tee shot at 2. Finished with a 5 to 6 foot par, which is pretty impressive after his tee shot. He's sizing up a par chance here at 3, Steve.
What?
But again, before we get too far away, I did want... Please do. If you're wearing your merch, I want to see that. I love seeing those pictures because, again, I won't be there. So social media, Facebook.com/StephenKyle, at Stephen Kyle on Twitter and Instagram. Let us know there. #garbage merch. #invade Grand Rapids. You have to wear it.
Yeah.
If you're coming all this way to see a radio show live at night, now unless you're wearing, some merchandise from the actual show.
Yeah, no, don't buy that. We don't make any money off of that.
No, $0. Steve and I are trying to build an APS 4.0.
We're trying to build an empire here.
And we're doing that T-shirt by T-shirt. And by T-shirt by T-shirt, I mean it's about $1.50 a shirt.
And let's see, early estimates. Probably going to need like $1,500, maybe $2,000 to build that studio.
Hey,
so
we're getting there.
That's a whole bunch of shirts.
We are a percentage there.
700 shirts.
Oh boy,
yeah, like 1,000 shirts.
I think
would make us $1,500
to give us what we want. I think 1,000 shirts is the safe number.
Oh, okay. So basically, everyone that listens on a weekly basis, you got to buy like 35 shirts a piece.
Not a problem.
Yeah,
just do what Nikki's done. Every few months you look around your house, you realize, hey, I could use some new throw pillows, and you buy some Steve and Kyle throw pillows.
Yeah,
you get a new phone. Hey, I need a new phone case. You buy a Steve and Kyle phone case. It's getting cold out. You need a new sweatshirt.
Yeah, maybe a parka. Do we have parkas?
I don't think we sell parkas.
Okay. Next year, by wintertime,
yeah,
mark my words, we'll have parkas. No, we won't.
Hey, old lady's knocked up. Could need some baby clothes.
That's okay.
SteveandKyle.com/merch.
Yeah. Tweet. Can we get baby stuff on ours?
Everything's baby now.
Is it?
Yep, I made sure of it.
Nice.
Everything.
I'm gonna have to,
I just checked the boxes on it. It's something that's not defaulted, so for a while we didn't. When I was looking through there a couple weeks ago, checking all of our designs. I like to keep tabs, make sure nothing's off-centered or that I didn't screw up. I go through and I checked off that to make sure everything had baby items optional as well as kids. So 2T, 3T, 4T, all that stuff.
Yeah, by the way, if you go to order something and you realize, like, that's weird, the image looks a little off or...
Yeah, please, let us know.
Out of shape or whatever, just let us know and we can go in and adjust it.
Yeah, cancel your order.
There's so many things on there that...
Yeah, and they all have to be hand adjusted, so that's why if something does look off, that's it's simply an error on our part. We can fix that pretty quick. So I know Lynn was looking to buy leggings. We had to figure something out for that for her coming up. But again, all of this, I think that's the only thing we haven't sold yet.
Yeah, we've although I don't know.
Oh, the major items.
There's
right?
some like art booklets or something.
Yeah, well, there's hardcover journals, softcover books. There's duvets if you want to fall asleep with the caricatures of myself and Steve staring at you.
Yeah.
Those are on there as well.
Yeah, put it on the bed upside down so you just look down, and there we are looking right back at you.
Yeah.
Your old friends just taking a nap with you.
You know, one thing I wanted to get to, Steve, I actually texted you about this yesterday because I don't know for certain. Now, this is a question for our official show historian, Nikki. Mm-hmm. I would assume we have told this story before on this podcast.
Oh, the big anniversary that popped up on Facebook the other day.
A big anniversary this week.
I'm sure we told it. Although, because that was 3 years ago.
4 years. You moved 4 years ago into Annette's house.
Was it 4? Then we didn't tell it because that was before, that was before we started the podcast.
Yeah, I looked yesterday. The timestamps on the Facebook post were 4 years ago.
So it was 2015?
2015 you moved into
Oh, you know why?
Annette's house.
Because I had shared the share from 3 years ago when it was the 1 year. Okay.
Yep. So it was 4 years ago, Steve, and this story needs to be told again now.
I think, it may have been told briefly at some point, but I think it needs its due.
It's worth a retelling, and we can, I think if you want to isolate this picture that's posted, we can post this on our social media as well, at Steve and Kyle on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle. This was... You lose track, Steve. 4 years ago, what? 5 homes? 3 homes ago?
No, this was moving out of Annette and I had been dating for about a year.
Yeah,
roughly. Because we moved in together. It was almost exactly on our 1 year anniversary when we moved in together. We started dating at the beginning of April of 2014, and I think I moved into her house beginning of April of 2015.
Okay. And so, and that was your third residence here.
Since
you lived in West Michigan.
Yeah, because I moved here. I lived in an apartment for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. After that, I bought my house. I lived in that house for 4 years, 4.5 years or so.
Yep.
Met Annette. And it was obvious right from the beginning of that relationship that, like,
you were moving into her house.
Yeah, this was...
Whether she wanted you to or not.
Oh, yeah, I was...
You eyeballed it. You had plans. You had designs on that house.
I already knew, like, where the Jeep was going to be parked. No, I mean, it was obvious that we were both in this for the long haul.
Okay.
So, it was...
like you said, you got her after her party phase.
Yep.
She was ready to move on from all the boozing, the nightclubs, the weekends away where she doesn't remember where she rested her head.
Uh-huh.
The vomit outside of the car windows.
But you really paint a flattering picture of my wife.
But that's in the past now.
But then again, not far from the truth.
And again, I don't know that. That's just in my mind.
Yeah.
It's just, kind of like a movie, a collage of moments of Annette doing those things.
Yeah, it's time to do shots.
And then and then the camera zooms out and you see it's 2:00 on a Thursday.
Yeah.
But that's okay, Steve. You didn't get that in there.
No. So it was. So within a couple of months of us dating, we were already talking about moving in together.
Yeah.
And I remember just saying one time, because her house, it was a ranch style house, and had a massive basement. And I remember saying, I was over there one time, I was like, man, this would be great for like to turn this into like a master suite type thing, like the bedroom area down there, but then kind of like a little living room down at this end. This would be great. And then we talked about it more and more, and we were like, we should do this.
Yeah.
Like she was really interested in it. So it was the beginning of that year. I remember it was right after New Year's. We did all the planning. We went out, like, did all the measurements, bought a ton of drywall and 2x4s and insulation and everything we needed. And over the next couple months, we built this basement room, and it was great. I loved it. So we decided that I would then move out of my house, rent my house out.
Mm-hmm. So now you're a slumlord. Sorry,
now I'm a slumlord.
Landlord.
Yeah.
I don't want to disparage.
No. I was a slumlord. Don't give me any credit.
Fix your own damn leak.
What do you mean you need heat? So I moved out of my house at the beginning of April into her house. My house was to be rented May 1st. And it worked out perfectly. A woman that I worked with, her and her boyfriend at the time, now husband, they were looking for a place, and it was the perfect size. Fast forward 2 years, they ended up buying my house. After renting for 2 years,
oh, nice.
They then bought my house. It was like the perfect scenario. Worked out so great. And so as I called upon you one day, I said, this is the day that I'm going to be moving.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff, no problem getting it out of the house onto the truck. And I think that really by the time you had gotten there to help, pretty much all of the big stuff was out of the house except for all of the stuff was out of the house except for like the couch, a dresser.
There was the big items, and then a lot of
bed.
the upstairs stuff. Now you had a kind of a, what would that be referred to? Staircase, not a winding staircase.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where you go up like 5 steps, you turn 90 degrees, go up 5 steps, turn another 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So, and it was this house was 100 years old, over 100 years old. So the second floor, really low ceilings, everything was angled. I loved that. Was part of why I bought that house, because I loved that, like the quirkiness to it. That did not lend itself well to big furniture. And when I first moved in there, I had a friend of mine who's a contractor built this beautiful bed because there wasn't enough room for a big dresser up there. So he built me this bed that had drawers in the bottom of it and like storage compartments. I forget what kind of bed it's called, but it was a king size, but he built it in 2 pieces. So it was basically 2 like twin size platforms. Mm-hmm. And those things weighed conservatively, I don't know, 300 to 400 pounds per side.
Just awful. So you call me, it's either that week before, that whatever. Say, hey, give me a hand moving some stuff tomorrow on this Saturday. I said, absolutely. So I come around the corner, expecting a mini crew.
Yeah.
Maybe 3-4 other people. Maybe some beer.
Now I can't party until after the work's done.
And I come around the corner, I pull into the driveway, and the group at that point was now me, you, Annette.
Yep.
Annette's mom. Annette's dad.
Yeah. Lola.
Young Lola was there. That was it.
Yeah, everyone else bailed.
So, all right. Well, I'm here to help now. I can't make an excuse now that I'm in the driveway.
Yeah.
So we start going, and you're not wrong. Your custom-made, hand-stained, crazy mahogany king-size bed with the most heavy drawers in America underneath it were a touch heavy. I think you're probably underselling it a touch, but well, you know what? Maybe 300 to 400 pounds is a fair estimate. Let's just say
per
that.
side, yeah. Because it took 3 of us to lift it.
Yeah,
because we had to first we had to lift it up. We had to tilt it up on its side, slide it out of the bedroom. Then we had to lay it back down, lift it straight up, and basically pass it over the ledge down to whoever was on the steps to essentially catch it, then bring it down. tweak it one way, twist it another way, bang up the walls.
So it wasn't just a walk down the stairs, because like you described your staircase, and what you're saying now is we were leaning it over one side of this angled staircase while two others, or one other, were trying to hold on to it and not collapse under the weight.
Basically catch it.
Just to try to get it down your winding, your weird staircase there.
But I remember thinking, oh man, when we get to the new house, it's going to be simple though, because we'll be able to walk it into the garage, and then from there, it's a straight shot through the garage, through the breezeway, right straight down the steps.
Sure.
And then at the bottom of the steps, you got to turn 90 to go into the bedroom, but that's simple. So we get that thing. It took us probably an hour and a half to get it out of the old house.
Yeah.
Both pieces. Get it on the truck, and I was like, hey, easy times are here. Here we go.
That was the hardest part, per Steve.
Yeah. So we get to the new house.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I said, came right off the truck, turned right into the garage, through the breezeway, through the into the house, down the steps. We get to the bottom of the steps, and it was okay. Well, you go that way a little bit, kind of turn, go down the hallway, and we struggled with that thing for 45 minutes probably.
It felt like an eternity.
Trying to figure out how we could get this thing around the corner and then straight into the room.
Yeah, and again,
impossible.
You just renovated that entire basement to be your new living space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the everything down there that you need. So we get it down the stairs, and we're just sweat pouring down our faces. And you finally look at it, and you say, it's just not going to fit. This isn't going to work. We've tried every direction and angle possible. We took out tape
measures. Yeah, we're measuring angles and like obtuse and acute angles and like doing algebra in our head, and it just every way we tried it. Now I worked for a moving company for a bunch of years when I was in college, so I'm very used to being able to look at something and kind of seeing the angles and thinking, okay, well, if we twist it this way, it'll go around the corner, and it'll probably do this leg first. It wasn't happening. So we actually briefly considered taking out the window, the egress window that we had put in the basement, and carrying the bed into the backyard and then passing it through the, down through the big pit.
Oh, God, that's right. Now, I don't remember. Was it just not going to fit, or was that going to be way too much of a headache?
It was going to be way too much of a headache. It would have fit, but it was not something I was considering seriously.
Well, what was less of a headache then, Steve?
Less of a headache, surprisingly, was ripping out paneling, ripping out studs, all to gain us an extra 3 inches to get this bed around the corner. And that's exactly what we did.
So we're sitting there with half a king-size bed frame, handmade, kind of upright and on an angle, as you're crowbarring and hammering.
Ripping out the trim, then carefully trying to, because this was on the side of the basement that we hadn't really done anything to.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to pop out this paneling, but in such a way that it wouldn't completely ruin it, so I could put it back up. And after about 45 minutes of struggle, got the wall removed.
So there's now drywall. There's splintered wood.
No drywall, luckily. I don't think there was any drywall behind that paneling that I can think of.
Oh, that's right. So the wood paneling.
Yeah.
Some of the wood just all ripped and shredded for about 1 inch of extra space.
Yeah, that's all we needed. We needed an inch, maybe 2 inches.
Oh.
Taking this out gained us about 3 inches. And once that was out, whoop, right down the steps.
Went right in.
Right in. Second half came down the steps, went right in. And then I said, okay, I'm going to put this wood back up now.
Yeah.
And it sat there for about 2 years.
That's what I was going to say. Now, you had just renovated. You'd spent money, bought all these things to make a beautiful living space in the basement. And then about one day upon completion, you rip out the corner of a wall at the bottom of your stairs. Now, ruining that beautifully designed basement. How long did it take you to repair the wall that you had shredded with a crowbar?
I did not repair that. Let's see, that was 2015. We moved out of there in September of 2017, and I only repaired it. I repaired it like when we put the house on the market, which would have been the summer of 2017. And it took 15 minutes.
Yeah, so it was a simple job for you. So you could, again, see that picture at Steve and Kyle on social media. Please check that out. It is the happy 4-year wall-iversary, Steve, of the day I was tricked into helping you move.
Yep. Yeah, and then not coincidentally, when we moved into this house... I believe you were busy that day.
I forget what
unknown. Whereabouts unknown.
Yeah, that may be accurate. I thought I had helped move, but I made it clear.
I do not blame you at all.
When we finally get this thing into the basement, and again, so there's now, a corner of the wall missing. Every bit of energy has now been expended, and we still have half of a truck to bring in.
It wasn't even the end of it.
Still had a massive couch to fit down there, and
couch was relatively easy compared to that.
I said
once we had the wall out, I backed the truck down those steps.
I said to you that when you sell this house, the bed stays with it, or you're burning it. Like those are it's not coming with you. There's no chance. So you said, "Hey, I'm moving." That bed is not coming, Steve. Yet, upstairs here,
the bed came.
The bed came with.
So I then had to reverse the process, take the wall out again that I had just put back up 2 months earlier.
Yeah.
Of course, I knew exactly what I was doing this time. It made it very easy.
Sure.
The bed went up the steps, took a couple people... Got it up the steps, out onto the truck relatively easily. And then when we got here to the house, we got lucky again. Straight in the front door, straight up the steps, stood it up in the hallway, twisted it, slid it down the hallway into the new room. It was good though. But when we put the bed in the bedroom here, same thing. This bed is not coming with us when we move. Now, we're going to be here a while.
I heard that before.
We're going to be here at least 6 months.
Who knows what the fall will hold? Steve really wants to
That is moving season.
Steve really wants to wait for the big moving season to get past. House selling season is spring and summer. You really want that heat to die off so you can make a whim decisions and, randomly. This house now isn't safe enough for my newborn. We need to move.
Yeah.
We need to move yesterday.
We need a rubber house.
We need a house of nothing but trampolines and padded walls.
Now, the bummer is we have... there's always a project underway here at the Steve house. And we have bought a bunch of hardwood flooring like a month ago that's eventually going to go in the upstairs hallway into the master bedroom.
Okay. Is it carpeted now then?
It is carpeted.
Okay.
Which means that bed will have to be moved to rip out carpet.
Oh, you're the worst. You're the worst person on the planet.
So it'll have to be moved so we can rip out the carpet. Then it'll have to move back so we can rip out the other half of the carpet.
Sleeping on a couch that night then?
Many nights, I'm sure we'll be sleeping on a couch.
Because then, seeing as it's no inconvenience, if you just want to, pull the bed out, rip the carpet out, put the bed back in, sleep there. Next day, come back in, put some of the hardwood in after you take the bed out again.
Yeah.
Put the bed back in to sleep there again that night,
Oh, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Because I figure the bed will have to be moved minimum 4 times. It'll have to be moved once so we can get the first part of the carpet out, then back to get the second part.
Yeah.
Actually, I might be able to do it a little differently.
Again, I think I asked this about every one of your projects. Have you considered hiring that out?
The flooring?
Yeah.
No, not really. No, because like we did the flooring at the old house, did the flooring here, and it's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not fun, but when you look at how much it would cost to have somebody come in and do it,
sure,
it is not worth it.
Now
I did have a brief moment the other day when I thought I don't think we're going to do this project. I think we'll hire it out. And that was with something in the backyard.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you've really looked closely in our backyard, but there are trees that have been down for easily years, like years before we moved in.
Yeah.
Trees fell down, and the old people just said, people that lived here said, oh, well, that's a tree down. Like, there's one tree that is dead and broken off at this stump and is just leaning at like a 50-degree angle against the tree next to it. And if you look at it, you see that it's rotting away. It's eventually going to fall. And if it does, it'll probably crash right through my fence into my neighbor's backyard. So we called a tree service to come out. Boy, is that expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Just to get into the backyard and everything?
Well, because there's a lot of stuff out there that we want cleaned up.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know why, but in my head, I'm always like, oh, yeah, it'll be like $300. Nope. $2,500.
Oh, come on. So you're doing it yourself?
I don't know. I don't know if I can climb trees like I used to.
It's a pretty big check to cut, though.
Yeah.
For that.
It is. But on the bright side, one day they're here, they're gone.
It's done.
And they haul it all away.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with like a 10-foot deep pile of wood chips sitting in the middle of my yard, because as you know, I'm very concerned about my grass.
Obviously, Steve, it's been a concern for you since you moved in.
I don't want any grass to die.
It's funny you mentioned that, because you've talked me into now trying to hire out my tree removal.
When you're looking at your house, is it the tree on the right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In front of our bedroom.
Yeah, because I took a look at it last week when I was at your house.
Yeah.
Simple.
Hiring it up. Nah. So I do what I'm supposed to do, and I look for reviews and suggestions, and I see a couple of people recommend this place. I have about 4 places I'm going to call, and it's like on a Wednesday or Thursday at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. None of them answer.
Okay.
Well, none of them except for one, Steve. One of them answers.
Is it Rick?
Hey. Hi, looking for a quote to get a tree removed. And there's about 18 seconds of... All right.
Hold on. Let me get a notebook.
Gets the address. And just a weird conversation. I can be there tonight. I could be there this evening, take a look at it. And I said, all right. I said, you're the first person who's going to come out, so I just wanted to take a look. I have no idea how much something like this would be, so just looking to, get an idea.
So that tree, I can give an estimate of what I think it would cost.
Okay. I'm talking stump grinding.
Stump grinding, that definitely adds to it.
I want stump grinding. I want that down. And... everything hauled away, obviously, Steve. I don't want everything just laying around in the yard.
I'm going to say $700.
All right. So this guy calls back. It's been a few hours. Hey, I'm going to take a shower quick. Phone's ringing. I say, Katie, can you get the phone? It might be the tree man. Mm-hmm. She answers the phone. Is Kyle there? Oh, he's busy at the moment. Oh. Are you his wife? Yep, that's me. All right. He said he wanted me to call when I was on the way. Never said that.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Okay. So I'll be there in a little bit.
Okay.
And then noises in the background. Sorry, that's my GPS speaking.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So let's act out how this conversation should have gone in the real world.
Sure.
I'll be Tree Man.
Yeah, I'll be Katie.
You be Katie.
Hello.
Hi, is Kyle there?
Oh, he's busy right now. Is there something I can help you with?
Oh, okay. This is the tree guy. I'm coming out to give an estimate. He just wanted me to give you a call when I was on my way.
Oh, perfect. How long do you think?
Be there in 10 minutes.
Perfect. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Click. It's a 12-second conversation, and she's on minute 2. And he had just said the words, sorry, that was my GPS speaking.
Okay.
Because when she told this story to me, I thought he had said, sorry, that's my GPS beacon. And in about a half an hour, I am not so sure that's not what he said.
Okay.
So
Did he pull up in a boat?
I get out of the shower.
Was it his E-Perb?
Get out of the shower, get dressed, stand in the living room looking, waiting for, essentially a company branded pickup truck or something,
no.
right?
Nope, you're not getting company truck. Not a chance.
Up pulls.
Or you're getting a truck, but it on the side of it says Ted's plumbing, but plumbing is crossed out. Ted's contracting is crossed out. Ted's gas service is crossed out. Ted's tree service.
I'll estimate 1996 Town and Country minivan.
Okay, that's a good year for tree hauling vehicles.
With a trailer, maybe 6 feet deep, attached to the back.
Okay.
So he gets out.
Does he get out and have his chainsaw and he's already like, which one is it?
So he's looking at the two. I have two trees. I said, no, not the big one, not the big one. That's fine. This one here in front of the house. And again, there's no introduction. I still don't know the man's name. Mm-hmm. No introduction. And he's looking at it. And Steve, it's easier to count the teeth he has. And so he's doing the game where...
Hey, that's fine.
Sure.
Look, I don't need a full-teethed man to cut down my tree.
But he's doing this thing that's creeping me out where he's looking at this tree, and it's not that big.
Yeah.
And he's putting his tongue through the gap.
Oh.
And
sir, I will pay you money to leave and not cut down the tree.
And he's just staring at it.
All right, which...
That's fine.
Hey,
size it up. Do what you have to do.
That is his thing because he's probably looking at, okay, it looks like it's got more weight on this side, or we obviously can't have it fall that way, so how I can trim this side first to get it to lean this way.
I don't think there's any trimming.
No problem.
I don't think there's any trimming.
You think it's a one-shot deal?
After seeing and meeting this guy, I think he's strapping a rope around his stomach.
Leaning back.
That's it. I think that's it. And he's trying to get out of the way as soon as possible.
Okay.
And he starts talking in no semblance of order. Uh-huh. He's just saying well, I could do this. I start this tonight. I do this. I'm going to go over to Holland. Yeah, I barely made it to this town to dump the last load. And I said, I'm just looking for a quote.
Do you think this guy is a guy who will cut down your tree, drag it down the street with his Town and Country minivan, hop out real quick, cut the rope, and then speed out of town?
Yeah, he's now looking for the nearest ravine that he can unhook the remnants of this tree and just gun it so he can dump it down.
So maybe there's no chainsaw involved. He's just tying a rope around it, putting the other end around his minivan, gunning it, and then he just keeps going.
Maybe he put some massive V8 into this thing, and he's just
into the Town and Country,
raring to get rid of it.
Yep. It's probably got a Hemi.
So I said, I'm sorry, I'm just looking for an estimate. You're the first person to come out. I don't need it done.
But are
tonight.
you the same way as I am? Where if he had given you this ridiculously low estimate, like if he had said, $70, I would have been like, fire it up, man. Do it now. I'll get you cash in 10 minutes.
Maybe, but it's the end of the conversation that eliminated that possibility immediately. Okay. So he's looking at it, and he's got his little notepad, that has the white copy and the pink copy, so he can have a copy of all the estimates he writes.
Yeah.
So he's jotting down notes on there.
I'm hoping that you say that after 10 minutes, he gave you a piece of paper and it just said tree, $300. Yet he sat there and scribbled on it for 15 minutes.
And then a crude drawing of a tree. So he after a few minutes, he's like, that'll be about, I can do it for $300.
Hey.
Stump grinding for $150.
$450. That seems like a great deal for that, and he hauls it away too, right?
That's what he said. Yeah. And so again, he starts telling me when he could get it done. I said, I'll call you in the next few days. I said I want to get at least a few more people out here to take a look at it.
I would have booked it right then.
Well, Steve, he wanted. Now, normally you just pay for it all up front.
Oh boy.
So his way.
No, I wouldn't pay for anything up front.
Well, his way of asking for it though, he wanted $300 up front.
Nope. See ya.
So he could go pay to rent the stump grinder from the rental place when he was done.
So he's a tree guy.
Yeah. And then he would come back the following Thursday when he had a few other stumps to grind.
Oh boy, no, but isn't he taking deposits from everybody else? Doesn't he ever?
Steve, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how this man runs a business. I can't believe he answered a phone. Yeah. And let alone not, No.
That would be like if you hired a contractor to come over and build a wall, like in your house, and he said, "I need $50 up front so I can buy a hammer."
Right.
Now, granted, different situation. Contractors a lot of times take money up front, but yeah, for like I'm not giving you money so you can get the tools that you should already have for the job that you're in.
Exactly. So. Hey, thanks, sir. Again, I never got his name.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, thanks, sir. I'll let you know. And all the while, so I'm walking back through my front yard into my garage. He's walking back towards the same way, and he's just staring at this other tree. Like this guy,
I get the one on the other side
is just fascinated by trees.
He's just looking to cut something.
And I think what he was calculating, because that's his trailer that he has, and again, it's very short. I think he's trying to calculate
if it's going to fit,
how many loads he's going to have to take out of there to go to wherever they dump this thing.
Couldn't he just dig it up and then just put the full tree in the trailer standing up?
Really tie it to the posts.
Yeah,
hardly any wind resistance for that
with a full tree
flutters in the wind. So, I am still waiting for a few more quotes. I made a few more calls after this gentleman left, and I opened the door, and I give Katie the whole explanation between me, tears in my eyes laughing because he now wants an up front to go rent a stump grinder.
Yeah, no, that's not how that works. I don't. Now, granted, I don't know. I haven't been around the tree cutting industry long.
Sure.
The few things I do know is that typically you don't pay a deposit, and also that if you get someone to show up, just hire them and let them do the job.
Well, yeah, in your experience,
that tree that I had at my old house, I had easily 4 different appointments. Finally, somebody showed up and gave me an estimate, and it was a little bit more than I wanted to pay, but I just said, cut it down.
Take it with you.
Drop that thing. No, that's the thing. I was so poor then. I had no money.
Oh, wow.
But I was terrified that thing was going to fall over on my house or my neighbors or power lines or something. So it was they gave me, that tree was massive, and they gave me an estimate of $600 to cut it down, but leave it there. So they just dropped the tree in the yard and left it at my house. And then I was telling somebody about this yesterday. I spent 2 weeks after work every day with a chainsaw, borrowing my buddy's truck, cutting that thing up, rolling pieces into his truck, and then driving them to the town that I lived in. They had free yard waste drop off.
Yeah.
So I remember I think it was 21 trips that I took to the yard waste place.
Oh my God.
And it was a 15-minute drive every time. So there was one day where I made that trip 7 or 8 times. And the guy at the yard waste, because you have to pull in, show your ID to show that you live in that town. And I'm pulling in, and this is the 6th time I've been there that day. And the guy's like, "How big was this tree?" And I was like, "Dude, you don't even understand. That was the most manual labor I've ever done in my life." But
would you do it again? Well, obviously, it's different. You didn't have the money,
right?
I
kind of had to. It wasn't really ideally, no, I didn't want to do that, but they wanted. It was $600 to cut it down, but if I wanted them to haul it away, grind down the stump, it was you're talking $2,500.
Oh.
So I just said, "Oh well, this is what I can afford right now, unfortunately."
So are you back now in the idea of where you might go be renting a stump grinder and doing all of this dead tree removal yourself?
Not the stump grinder, but
the wood chipper.
I think I would still hire the stump grinder to come out.
Okay, but you get a wood chipper on your own.
If I'm going to rent the wood chipper, I may as well rent the stump grinder too.
Right? Try
I
it
got
yourself.
them both. Yeah, I haven't run one of those before.
You just can't help yourself.
I can't.
You really can't. Is the ease of just cutting the check. But you're thinking.
Well, here's the deal. If I hire that company to do it, $2,500, which I don't have just a pile of money.
Oh, sure. No, $2,500 is no drop in a bucket.
That's a lot of money.
No, absolutely.
So I don't want to do that. But then I was looking at the prices for I should have a chainsaw. With the amount of trees that we have out back, I should have a chainsaw. So all right, I'll spend I don't know, $200 on a chainsaw.
Yep.
About $100 to rent the chipper. About probably the same to rent the stump grinder. Full weekend of work.
Just your own time. That's
so
the only
I probably
right?
got $500 into it as opposed to $2,500 into it.
Huh? You're gonna do it.
What are you doing next weekend?
Oh God, no.
Come on, it'll be fun.
Oh, now we're advertising it as fun. Okay.
There's going to be beer.
Oh, wow. I feel like I've read this ad before.
There's this is also we can get that shed in the backyard.
And to cut that thing down?
Yeah.
Just not just push it over?
If I rent a wood chipper, I'm just feeding the old shed through the wood chipper.
Yes. God, your neighbors gotta hate you so much.
Had a good conversation with Joe the other day.
Jesus. Just leave the poor man alone, would you?
I felt bad because we realized last week that one of our trees had fallen down, crushed the fence.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was from our the kitchen from our house where we look out the back window. It was just the perfect angle where you couldn't see that I knew that a branch came down, but it looked like it just landed behind the shed.
Yeah.
But then I finally walked out behind the shed for the first time in months, and I saw, oh no, that crushed part of the fence. So he came outside while we were over there. I had a handsaw. I'm just cutting it up. He came out and he's like, "Hey, neighbor," and I said, "Sorry, man. Sorry, my tree crushed your fence. What? Probably 2 months ago." He's like, "Yeah, it was a while ago during that ice storm."
Oh,
I just didn't know.
Oh, you're just the worst.
He's a great guy, though. He even set up an estimate. Like somebody's coming out to give us a tree estimate tomorrow because he needs stuff cut down. I need stuff cut down.
Okay.
And the neighbor on his other side needs stuff cut down. So he's like, I'll just set up a guy to come out and give an estimate, and maybe we'll get a good deal because we're kind of grouping it all together. I was like, done, man. Do it.
Man, this is like the neighbor who, rented the dumpster
same
for
neighbor.
you.
Yeah, same guy.
Okay. So it is the same guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I stand by what I said a year ago.
That he's a very helpful, nice man.
Really, really wants to tell you what to do and how to do it.
That's fine because as long as his wants and needs align with mine, I'm on board.
You're just gonna end up being
if he wants to do all the work.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That is different. That is obviously different.
Yeah.
Huh.
He set up the dumpster thing. I basically just had to call and say, "Hey, my neighbor set this up. Let me pay for it."
Yeah. I mean,
done.
You got your email. We still don't know how.
Yeah, that was weird.
Now
the only thing I can.
Don't worry. I'll handle the tree cutting. Yeah. You don't need the quote. I'll handle it. You just pay me cash.
I think the only way that I figured out that he got my email address is because he works for one of the utility companies.
Okay. May have seen
known
the address.
I'm assuming, he just searched their database, which seems highly illegal.
There's no question that's not allowed. There's no question.
But hey, it's I didn't have to have a phone conversation. I didn't have to have a face-to-face.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of on board. I'm kind of in your boat there where it's I want to be neighborly. I want to be friendly. Yeah. But I also don't want, I don't want too much chit-chat back and forth.
Yeah. The next thing, he's going to start asking just personal questions that you don't remember ever bringing up to him.
What's your mother's maiden name?
Yeah.
I realize he's hacking into all of my accounts.
Oh, hey, I meant to ask you, how's Hobie?
Wait a minute. How did you... What?
He's good. Thanks for asking.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, give him my best. Florida's beautiful this time of year.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so Steve, big project for you. I can't wait. I need to see the cul-de-sac tree cutting crew. I need to see that in action.
Okay,
I'll tell you what.
The day that we're going to be doing it, I'll let you know. So not so you can come over and help because I know better.
Oh, not interesting.
But so you can come over. I'll even have like a little lawn chair set up in the yard.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bucket with some ice.
Yeah, I'll bring some beer.
A couple beers.
Yeah.
And you can just watch, maybe point. You're like, no,
Howard.
Yeah,
if you want to leave a little clearing, move this one.
Yeah, that'll be nice in the afternoon sun. Get a nice little beacon shining through there.
You know what? It's all beautiful because it seems like you're really clearing the area for in about 6 years.
There's not going to be one thing left.
When you can install the pool.
Oh, man. Pool Steve is not excited.
My favorite part is that you're resigned to Pool Steve fate.
It's going to happen.
You're already bummed out about it.
It's going to happen.
By the way, before we get to the big news, not the big news of the week, but we have to update the Throat Goblin Tournament. We are, what, a week and a half away from you finding out the gender of your baby.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from tomorrow we will find out
the
gender of little baby coming into this world. And, man, I am so excited about that. I can't wait. I'm still terrified. I don't think I'm going to be a great parent.
This is when it starts getting really real, too.
Yeah.
But... so I have to ask you, I know you're doing just a little thing with the family.
And by family, me and Annette.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's right.
It's, no, we're not...
thinking of getting just a couple of cakes for yourself.
Yeah, we're going to... Annette's going to order, like, pink cake, blue cake.
Yep.
And it's just going to be us. We just want to... I think we just want it to be like a personal thing for us. Obviously, we will then let everybody know. Beyond excited about it. And I think that, like you said, that's when it's really going to get real. Now, there was the first ultrasound at 12 weeks when you saw the little baby.
Yep, I heard a heartbeat.
Squirming around in there. A couple weeks later, 4 weeks later or so, we were there. Heard the heartbeat again, no ultrasound then. But, yeah, this is the 20-week one. This is gonna be the mind-blowing one where we find out it's a little boy, little girl. Because we haven't really talked names. We have a little bit, but then...
waiting.
Yeah, we kind of stopped. Because it would have been... I don't know, if we really had our heart set on one name...
And then it's a different... Yeah.
Then it's the other gender. So we just kind of... We backed off on that.
Yep.
I have a couple names that I like.
Got a few in the tank there.
All girl names, though.
I was the same way.
I'm convinced. I've been convinced since day one that it is a girl.
Okay,
and that's great. I'm thrilled.
Yeah,
I'll be thrilled either way.
You've got 10 to 12 years of happiness, from all accounts, and then they'll hate you for about 10.
So I was. I had talked to my dad earlier in the week, just kind of touching base with him. Hadn't talked to him in a week or so. And he's like, "Oh, when do you find out?" And I told him still had a couple more weeks. He said, "Oh, okay. Well, keep us posted. Let us know." And then I got a voicemail from him the next day, and it made me laugh because he knows what we are having.
Yeah.
Actually, let me see if I still have the voicemail. I could fire it up right now.
Oh boy, this is exciting.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was something that was possible.
Now, it wasn't anything weird, right? Because there's all of the old wives' tales, usually very crudely sex-related about what it's going to... So you didn't have to deal with your dad going,
No.
Did this happen or did this happen?
No, none of that.
Well, Dad, thanks for asking. This is what I remember.
No, luckily, there was none of that.
Good.
And I'm very happy with that.
So wow, this is exciting. This is a peek. This is a sneak peek for all of the podcasts, because that's what I wanted to ask you about is what are the, so you guys are going to tell yourself, what are the odds the podcast will get either first reveal or maybe simultaneous reveal with the radio show? So you can time it, say, hey, I won't know, or we're not finding out until Tuesday or Monday night, so can we do it Tuesday? And then we reveal it on the podcast, and we release the podcast.
Yeah, we find out on a Monday. We find out 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yep, but you're going to. But then you said you're going to do a cake thing, a personalized cake,
which we'll do because we're going to go there. They're going to basically write it down on a piece of paper.
Yep. We're
going to fold it up, bring it home.
Yep.
Open it up at home, just the two of us, and find out. So maybe we record.
When you guys are revealing it?
No, not quite. Not exactly. I was thinking maybe we could record
in the doctor's office.
Not exactly my plan either. No. How about we record slightly after?
All right, so
on a Monday night. Can you do a Monday night record?
I'll put that chair up on the porch. You guys find out. Yeah, I'll knock on the door about 25 seconds later.
Sure.
Tears in eyes. We go down. We hit record quick.
Maybe we record on Sunday as normal.
Okay.
But we'll just leave a gap and we'll say, we'll just record both versions.
Yes.
And then depending on which
plug one in.
I'll plug it in. Yeah.
Yep. Oh man.
So, but again, we don't need to do that because we already know what we're having, thanks to some wizardry that my dad informed me about when he left me this voicemail the other day.
Hey, Steve, it's Dad. I just wanted to let you know, the woman that cuts Judy's hair and my hair predicted that you guys are going to have a boy.
Oh.
And she said she's never been wrong, but she always has to look at a picture of the parents. So I showed them a picture on my computer that I had of you and Annette, and she said that you're going to have a boy. So I just thought I'd let you know. Talk to you later. Bye.
I have a lot of questions.
Okay. Start from the top.
Well, I guess my first one is, so did your dad bring a computer to the barber?
I'm assuming he meant iPad. You know, my dad's like in his 70s, so...
But still, he brought an iPad to the barber, huh?
That doesn't surprise me.
No?
No,
Is he playing like Candy Crush while he's getting trimmed?
Maybe. Yeah, I bet he's doing like a crossword puzzle or something. I'm shocked. Like a couple of years ago, I would have been shocked, but he has fully adopted the iPad life.
So, and also, I mean, can we get a history of this supposed undefeated record of Judy?
What do you
or
need
not Judy? I'm sorry, the lady who cuts Judy.
What do you need? Why would you need that? But you know that the record is undefeated. Why? What other proof do you need? Undefeated scoreboard.
I mean, this is big. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, we're having a baby boy. I guess.
Baby boy, time to start getting named. Go get the blue paint. Let's paint that room this afternoon, man.
Room's already painted. Not painting again.
There's not a lot worse. Yeah, there's no harm in it, but I think it's a boy, or I think it's like, okay, neat. Like, what are you supposed to do with that information? Like with random people, like, oh, how far along are you, or what is it? We don't know yet. Oh, I bet it's gonna be a girl.
Do you?
Okay, Carol, nice to see you. You're my mom's bridge friend. Saw you when I was 6.
Does your mom play bridge?
No.
Okay.
Is that's an old? Does
bridge or like canasta?
Does bridge go away when this generation, kind of starts passing away?
Think so yeah.
Because I love cards and I love any form of gambling and competition like that. I couldn't play a game of bridge.
Do you know how to play?
No.
Yeah, I have no clue.
My wife, a couple of weeks ago, we were out.
She played bridge?
Taught me how to play cribbage again. And that's the last time
cribbage. I remember that game.
Ever play cribbage.
I remember like people playing cribbage at like family gatherings, but I had no idea how to play.
It's awful. Don't waste your time.
Okay.
But like those games, are going the way of the dinosaur there, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. Unfortunately. But hey, the big news is
you're having a boy.
Having a baby boy, as determined by the lady who cuts my dad's hair
and Judy's
hair. She is undefeated.
Never lost
when it comes to picking baby genders based on the picture of the parents. So look at that. Having a baby boy.
It's and you heard it here first, folks. You podcast listeners get first listen about the gender reveal.
Unless I play that same voicemail on the side gig tomorrow or before 7 a.m. on Tuesday.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks coming up, we will know first on the podcast what gender Steve is having.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah.
Not as excited, though, Steve, as I am to find out the results of the What I Ate.
This is big.
I'm excited, man. We're dwindling it down only, 2 weeks after the conclusion of the basketball tournament.
Wait, it did end. It ended a week ago.
It was last week Monday.
If you want to be the best, you got to be a fighter. If you want to be the best, you've got to show.
So we had some big. We had some big matchups this week.
Fighter.
Pulled up on the Jumbotron up here. We had. All right, sir. I'm done. You're done. Enough.
They're just getting to the best part.
The 2019 Throaty 2, that's the Throat Goblin tournament that we've been doing. Are we going to do this again next year or not?
Oof.
It's just...
Retiring it after 2 seems like a fond farewell.
All right, so here's the bracket. I have it pulled up on the Jumbotron. We had, in the gut division, over in the left ventricle, we had the number 1 seed Pharynx Polytechnic taking on the number 3 seed Mucus U. We had in the throat division, the 2 seed University of Jowl taking on the 5 seed Loud Stomach State.
Yeah.
We had in the right ventricle, the stomach division, number 1 seed Phlegm A&M taking on number 5 Trachea School of Fine Arts. And then down in the bowel division, number 1 seed Gullet Institute taking on. Oh no, I'm reading.
I'm reading
the wrong
matchup
ones.
off. Yeah.
In the right ventricle, the stomach division, it was number 1 seed Phlegm A&M taking on ARCS, Acid Reflux Correspondence School.
The Cinderella, as we declared it last week.
And then down in the bowel division, the number 3 seed Fat Lip Tech taking on the number 5 seed Esophagus Episcopalian University. So we had
a lot of returning teams, some newcomers in there, and the one Cinderella. You couldn't have written this any better.
Yeah. So here are the results. Now I have them pulled up right here. The number 1 seed Pharynx Polytechnic decidedly knocking off the 3 seed Mucus U, an 80-20 margin on the votes.
Absolute steamrolling there as the number 1 seed, the chalk, if you will, Steve, advances to the Phlegm 4.
And also, Loud Stomach State, the number 5 seed, taking on the number 2 seed University of Jowl. Again, this is probably one of the most lopsided ones in the entire tournament. Number 2 seed University of Jowl, knocking off the 5 seed Loud Stomach State, a 94% to 6% margin.
Sets up the Phlegm 4 matchup of a number 1 seed Pharynx Polytechnic versus the number 2 seed University of Jowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we will go through all the matchups in just a minute. This one, very close. We had the number 3 seed Fat Lip Tech and the number 5 seed Esophagus Episcopalian. By 1 vote. 1 vote, Fat Lip Tech moves on to the Phlegm 4.
The newcomer.
Yeah. And that'll definitely be an exciting matchup.
The first newcomer in the Phlegm 4.
Yeah. But not the last. Or is it? I don't remember if this... No, never mind. This was the most surprising matchup.
Whoa.
We had a 1 seed Phlegm A&M taking on a 7 seed ARCS, Acid Reflux Correspondence School, as we call them here in the discussion den. Not even close. 89% of the vote going to the number 7 seed.
Oh my gosh.
Acid Reflux Correspondence School. The biggest upset this tournament has ever seen.
So that is, if I remember right, Steve, in the Steve 16, Acid Reflux Correspondence School had to overcome the number 6 seed Intestinal Rumble Art School.
Let's see. Let me trace their ARCS. ARCS first took on. They took out the number 2 seed Gut State.
Yeah, an upset in its own right, obviously.
They then took on the number 6 seed Intestinal Rumble Art School, as you said, took them out as well. They then took on the number 1 seed Phlegm A&M. Boom, gone. Go back home. Go back home to the Phlegm school. So top-notch tough talk.
Ooh, there is no way Flem A&M comes back from that. Devastating. Burn by Steve.
Go back home to the Flem school. That was.
Oh my gosh. So the slipper still fits Steve. My goodness, as the Flem 4 moves on to as we move on from the Wad 8 to the Flem 4.
So here I can give you the matchups. Down in the Flem 4, the matchups, we have the number 1 seed Pharynx Polytechnic taking on the number 2 seed University of Jowl.
Ooh, that's a
boy.
I dare to even make a prediction.
Over to the right ventricle, the number 3 seed Fat Lip Tech taking on the number 7 seed, the Cinderella Story ARCS Acid Reflux Correspondence School.
Wow. Hearing that now, I'll say it. The slipper, it doesn't fit.
It's a dark horse. Midnight
is tolling. Cinderella did not make it back. Her carriage turned into a pumpkin.
Is that how that story goes?
Boy, what a stupid story. I think Acid Reflux Correspondence School goes out here. I don't think they can hang with the blue bloods of Pharynx Polytechnic and University of Jowl. Those two are the clear front runners here. It's just a shame they have to face off against each other.
Maybe you didn't hear my tough talk earlier when ARCS sent Flem A&M back to the Flem school. I don't think you realize the run that this team is on.
I obviously don't, Steve. I am predicting that the Flem 4s, as far as they're going to get this tournament, I don't think they move on to the Throat Goblin Championship.
Okay.
I will not make a prediction on the Pharynx Polytechnic versus University of Jowl matchup. Two blue blood programs through and through.
I think Pharynx Polytechnic is going to knock off University of Jowl by a slight margin. It's going to be less than 5% of the vote as the deciding factor.
Man.
And I'm going to make the huge prediction that ARCS, number 7 seed ARCS, is knocking off number 3 Fat Lip Tech.
Wow. So of the Flem 4, we have 3.
Dare I say, in deciding fashion.
Whoa. So not even close. You're telling me Fat Lip Tech's going to go down handily.
It'll be...
And they can go back to their fat lip zone if they lose.
Boom. Roasted.
Take that. So of the Flem 4, that is 3 returning teams make it to the Flem 4 the following year. Only one of the 4 number 1 seeds, a number 2 seed, a number 3 seed, and obviously Cinderella, the number 7
who's the new
seed.
one?
That is Fat Lip Tech
Okay,
is the newcomer here, going up against the returning Acid Reflux Correspondence School. 3 out of the floor Flem 4 teams returning from a season ago.
So just 2 weeks from today, when it is nearly May, we will crown our winner.
Just the dumbest planning.
Of the Throat Goblin Tournament. We should have started this mid-February. Instead, we started early April.
Yeah, we really needed to start 2 weeks before the basketball tournament started. Yeah. And instead, we started the same week.
Not realizing that
we're going at a much slower pace than they are.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. This is important stuff.
Check out all of those on social media. You can find the link there to vote at Steve and Kyle, Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle for directions on how to vote. Thank you for voting, and keep on doing it here into the Flem 4 and into the championship match.
Looking forward to next week when we figure out what is the 2? What is that? Do we have a name for that? Flem 4?
It's just the Throat Goblin Championship match?
Was it the Tonsil 2?
It should be the Tonsil 2. If not, Zach's failed. Zach made all these designs and apparently did not include the Tonsil 2, which is a mistake on his end.
All right. Well,
you can buy all your Throat Goblin merch, steveandkyle.com/merch as well.
Yeah, and once we have the champion for this year, we're going to upload a picture of the bracket to steveandkyle.com/merch. Because we'd be silly not to offer this to the thousands and thousands of people who have cast their votes.
Just a fantastic showing of support. I cannot wait to find out who the second ever champion is, because I really, really remember the first champion.
I think
it was Esophagus Episcopalian University who just went out in the What I Ate.
I think that no matter what, we have to go out for drinks that night.
Oh, it's a celebration.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an absolute celebration. So yeah, we absolutely will do that.
Yeah, we'd be silly. We would be remiss if we did not celebrate such a momentous occasion.
Man.
Now, with that being said,
Fast 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Masters weekend,
oh,
Steve.
The Masters.
It's on right now.
The best weekend of tennis all year long. Gotta love it. It's a pro-am, right?
Yep.
Tennis pro-am. So we got like Andre Agassi taking on like the guy who does the voice of Homer on The Simpsons. Is that Dan Castellaneta?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the man. That's the big team up.
Can't wait.
Julian Assange.
Oh boy, that's a whole weird story.
Kind of crazy, right?
Arrested in London. Was it London? He was in London. Right?
He was in the Ecuadorian embassy in London, maybe, because he was arrested by Metro UK police, I believe. So yeah, I think you're right. The Ecuadorians ended up removing his asylum. And so he was arrested. After that, the Trump tax returns.
Well,
another showdown, Steve.
I'll tell you what. Unrelated to Trump's tax returns, I did my tax return earlier this week.
How'd that go?
Very good, actually.
Hey.
So
you're voting for him?
Hey, yeah, Donnie T. Me and Donnie T. Right, just like this. Fingers crossed. Best pals. Yeah, so who was it that said his tax returns will never see the light of day?
Yeah, Mnuchin?
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Mnuchin? No, that's the mooch. Right?
Mnuchin is the man's name. I'm sure.
I'm getting him mixed up with Scaramucci.
Oh, yeah, Anthony Scaramucci, the 11-day press secretary.
What are the chances that two
guys... mooches?
Yeah, two mooches in the same...
Oh, nice. The LA Lakers.
Doesn't seem like LeBron helped them much.
This is the way it goes.
And what's his name? And Magic
quits.
Magic quits in a weird way, basically by holding like an impromptu press conference in a hallway.
Something is amiss there. Something's going on.
Yeah.
And lastly, Steve, I had it last week. Put it back on this week. Game of Thrones.
Oh, GOT, man. Big G, little O, big T.
Yep, that's how the fans...
Dragons and
swords.
Fire. Are you a fan?
No.
You're not a fan either.
I watched a few seasons. Yeah, I watched a few seasons and then ended up deciding that sadness did not need to enter my life on the television realm to that degree. It just...
So you weren't a fan?
So, it's fantastic TV, Steve.
Yeah.
There's no question. It's the saddest show around. Nothing happy ever happens to anybody you want it to happen to.
Yeah.
And I'm not the guy who needs a Disney movie ending or whatever to everything. But there's not anything positive that happens to any of the characters that you like in that show. And it's not worth it.
And as everybody knows, you're all about positivity.
There's nothing I appreciate
when
more.
I look at you, I think that's a guy who always has a positive outlook.
I got to the point in season 3 where an entire family gets murdered at a wedding. And I thought...
Is that what they call the red wedding?
That is what they call the red wedding. And I thought, I'm good. I don't need this anymore.
Done.
I appreciate how shocking it was because I didn't know any of it coming up. But I said, this has to be it for me. There's nothing that's going to come joyous from this.
Can't do it anymore.
And I don't need joy, but I just mean like a hint of, redemption or something for the characters that you enjoy that might help. No, it didn't exist. So I stopped watching and I haven't looked back. I don't think there's been a television phenomenon like this, though.
Let's see. When Annette and I first started dating, so over 5 years ago at this point, she was watching it then. And I think maybe I watched like an episode, maybe 2 with her.
Yeah.
But I don't think she even started it from the beginning. I think she may have started it a little bit in. And from everything I hear about that show, that is not a show that you can just kind of jump in and out of.
Yeah.
You have to listen to it, or you have to watch it from the beginning, and in some cases watch stuff like 2 or 3 times to really understand what's going on, because there's so many characters. All the characters are very complex, and the characters may have multiple names that they are referred to as. So it's very confusing when you think that they're talking about somebody else, but they're actually talking about the same person.
What do you?
So I've never been a big fan of that genre.
Yeah, if you're not into fantasy and sci-fi and in that realm, this is going to be hard to stick with you when you start seeing dragons born.
But I'm starting to think maybe I'll watch it.
Okay, maybe you'll start from the start.
Yeah, but I'm not going to binge it to catch up. You can't before tonight.
Oh, sure, right.
I mean, because it's the actually I saw a funny video. It was James Corden apparently had one of his writers who had never watched the show before binge all 65 or 67 or whatever it was episodes.
Hours or so.
Started at 9 a.m. on a Friday, and he just watched all through the weekend. And according to them, he legitimately did it. Watched all 67 episodes in one weekend to get caught up for the premiere of the final season tonight.
There are a lot of people doing that before the Avengers Endgame comes out in a few weeks, trying to watch all 22 Marvel movies.
Ugh.
The challenge was, I believe it was started last week or 10 days ago, 22 and 22. So 22 Marvel movies in 22 days.
Okay, so you figure that's roughly 2 hours a day dedicating it. And I'm assuming that there has to be a certain order that you watch them in.
Well, I think most people are watching them would just watch them in order of release.
Okay. God, that just doesn't interest me at all.
That's too much. That's
way
much,
too
right?
much. So, 22 though. There were 22 Marvel.
I believe that's
movies?
what they said was 22. Yeah.
When is the earliest one? What?
2008 Iron Man is what is being.
So that's what started it all.
That's what started the Marvel universe the way it is. They're including the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, even though that's kind of not, part of canon, if you will.
What is canon?
Storyline.
Okay.
Because obviously they changed the actor after Edward Norton. You haven't seen the Hulk individual since then. When was the last, to get back to Game of Thrones, when was the last TV show you remember that was like this in terms of, I'll just catch it tomorrow? No, this is must-see night of viewing. When was the last thing you remember?
That I personally was into, or that the buzz was
that you
about?
Remember the buzz?
God, I don't.
Was it Lost?
Lost was really big.
Was it after Lost? I mean, I can't think of anything.
Lost was probably... I mean, that was early 2000s.
Yeah, I think that ended in 2007.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I remember my first radio job, everybody there, I worked there 2003 to 2008.
Yeah.
Everybody there was super into Lost. But that's also Sopranos timeline.
I was going to say, was it the last season of The Sopranos? It's weird how these kind of come up, but Game of Thrones has been this way now for a few years.
Yeah.
And especially when they announced that, hey, the last season's going to be 6 episodes, and it's not going to happen for 2 years. It became, the buzz has only been building for this thing for a couple of years.
Is it starting tonight and then the next,
5 weeks, yeah.
Okay, so it's not they're not doing the Sopranos thing where it's the first episode is tonight, and then it's 3 more, but then they take a month off.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I believe it should be 6 weeks in a row. So
right.
That again that is premiering this week. Before that, the LA Lakers, Magic Johnson quitting in a hallway to Rachel Nichols, the head coach being fired. They improved by 2 games over a season ago after after gaining the best player in all of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens, though, Steve. LeBron joins a team, and eventually he tears it down to its core to get what he wants. This happened in Miami, where after a few weeks, they went into Pat Riley's office and tried to see if Pat Riley would take over coaching instead of the coach he had picked.
Yeah.
When he went back to Cleveland, David Blatt, who was a well-respected coach from Israel, he gets fired. They bring in Tyronn Lue, who has such a tough time dealing with LeBron James. He almost has a heart attack and has to take weeks away from the team. Now,
what is it about LeBron?
I think he just needs control. He's probably hard to handle because I think he knows he's the best player in basketball.
Yeah.
He wants to run a team and an offense and run plays the way he does. He doesn't want to listen to a Luke Walton, who was a second-round draft pick 15 years ago and flamed out of the league.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to listen. He doesn't want to show. So he wants a guy he can kind of puppeteer. But the idea was that Magic Johnson was going to be this light that people, oh man, I want to go play for Magic, like Magic Johnson.
Sure, it's Magic.
But obviously that went away. They weren't very good over the 2 years he was there, and now the LA Lakers kind of back at square one with no GM. no head coach, LeBron, and not much talent behind him. So LA Lake, it's a mess. I love watching it.
Yeah, it's that whole thing though with the way that Magic quit and essentially just said like, I just want to be Magic Johnson again.
It's very weird.
I don't blame him. That guy, I mean, he's no doubt worth millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Doesn't need a job. He should just be, because before he was the president, what was he, like a player ambassador or something like that?
Yeah, he's an ambassador, and he still has his stake in the Dodgers. He has a stake in the MLS team over in Los Angeles. He's doing, obviously, a million different things.
Galaxy?
Yeah. But he was a Laker. They bring him in because he can attract players.
Man,
as a Laker.
why would you put yourself in a situation where you have to be making decisions and going to the office every day? You want to be the guy that they say like, "Hey, we're trying to lure LeBron to town.
Yeah.
Can you like fly out to Cleveland and
have
just
a dinner with him?
Yeah, go out to dinner, or we're gonna bring him into town and take him around and take him out for the weekend. Go play golf with him a couple times and like tell him how great it is to be a Laker. That's it. You don't want to be sitting there like." Why would Magic, after a crazy successful career where he's worth millions of dollars, why would he want to sit in an office ever?
Yeah, and he wanted to be a figurehead. He had to make team decisions, and he wasn't very good at it. Not the first instance, though. I mean, for as much as people love Magic, he gets nothing but opportunity.
Yeah.
He didn't do well with the Lakers. He was the coach of the Lakers. He didn't do well at that.
Right.
He had a late-night talk show, fizzled out at that after like 2 weeks. There's something to be said about his misses being kind of just as frequent as his hits.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless, the Lakers in some serious flux. Before that, the Trump tax returns, Democrats demanding them be released here by a certain date, or they're going to.
I'm sure something big will happen.
I've never been so exhausted with politics and posturing in my life than I have been the last year and a half to 2 years. Absolutely just bored.
So then, so what happens? His tax returns finally get released, and you realize, oh, he made more money than everyone thought. Oh, he paid less taxes than everyone thought. Oh, boy, that's really going to change things.
Who cares? Like, look what Amazon did. It came out that Amazon made $11 billion, paid zero in federal taxes. Nothing happens. It's the way it is, and this is going to mean nothing for us. So glad to see that that's still ongoing. Before that, Julian Assange arrested. Finally, it's been like 6 years, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
That he's been living in the embassy, an Ecuadorian embassy in England.
So does that mean he hasn't left?
I'm pretty sure people have gone and visited him. But Michael Moore's gone and visited him. Pamela Anderson was very outspoken on Twitter this weekend about Julian Assange being arrested. I don't know, man. And they're charging him with, I believe it's more of a computer, because the reason this became a bigger deal is he has sexual assault charges from a couple of years ago that I don't believe he's going to stand trial for. I believe he was finally arrested and will be charged for the WikiLeaks thing that has been going on for years. So Julian Assange finally arrested. That I'm sure will be a very brisk process, and we'll have answers about that in no time.
Yeah, definitely.
And lastly, Steve, Masters weekend. We're sitting here on Masters Sunday with a different record because the weather coming into Augusta, Georgia. Tiger is on the hunt, wearing his Sunday red. Currently one back. Been a real back and forth this morning, Steve. Had a couple of really bad tee shots, giving up some shots to Francisco Molinari. The last hole, though, 7 Molinari bogeys, Tiger birdies. Molinari 12 under, Tiger 11 under, but a bad tee shot. Not a great line here at the green on number 8, a par 5 that you really need to bird if you want a chance to win the Masters on Sunday. Molinari not known for making mistakes, Steve. First bogey in 50 holes at the Masters.
Wow,
that is a
100.
record that hasn't been touched. As Tiger here looking for his second on the par 5 8th. The crowd, though, it's that Sunday.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm sorry,
Tiger
I
crowd.
cut you off? Boy, that was inappropriate of me to do. But the buttons, they hit themselves.
Hey,
sometime.
man, sometimes that iPod barely works. That iPad barely functions.
No. That's still, we're still on the same screen. It may take a few moments for your iPad to
They would need to sell like 1,100 shirts, and then we can buy an iPad too.
Yeah. One day. All right, Fast Five. I'd like a recap of WrestleMania, please.
Oh, my gosh. Way too long. There you go. That can button it down really quickly.
Boy, look at that. Look at the time. Bret Hart.
Oh, man.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
That's a crazy video. What are you doing? Like, if you're, you can't call, well, one, you can't call yourself a fan. Oh, my God, Steve. Tiger way off the back of the green with his second. He's going to have to use a lob wedge there just to get on the green for a chance at birdie now.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy.
Bret Hart.
Sorry. Yeah. What compels someone to do that?
So that was just some dude sitting, no doubt, up in the front row.
Yeah.
Wearing a Rasta hat. Bret Hart is giving his speech, his induction into the Wrestling Hall or WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, for being a member of the Hart Foundation, a tag team with Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and somebody charges the ring and tackles him in a weird fashion. It's like a 65-year-old man, so tackles
was
him.
it really? I didn't realize.
No, Brett. Brett. Yeah,
I was gonna say, man, that guy moved pretty good.
Tackle him and then gets the beating of a lifetime from wrestlers and security who drag him out, giving him rabbit punches to the side of the head as they drag him out. I don't know what would compel you to do that.
Yeah.
It's a wrestling figure, and you've paid the price for a ticket to be at this induction ceremony.
That's like the famous "It's still real to me, damn it" guy. Like you're
mad at Bret Hart for whatever.
He's a little too into it.
Yeah.
He hasn't realized that it's sports entertainment and not like
actual
boxing or MMA or.
No, I'm like you, Steve. There's probably still a little bit of anger residing from WrestleMania 13 when Bret Hart obviously won an absolute all-timer over Stone Cold Steve Austin. Nobody really wanted to see that outcome, but Bret Hart did it anyway. But you can't be carrying that to his induction ceremony 20 years later.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The rare mid-list intro play. Moving on, Game of Thrones.
Oh, God, yeah. Now you're at a water cooler, or you're at a place that has, the proverbial water cooler. Is this something that people are going to come up to you tomorrow? Hey, did you see the premiere last night of GOAT?
Probably not. I think because the core group of my coworkers, they know that I'm not a big Game of Thrones fan, so.
Should you have bought a shirt or screen printed a shirt? I didn't watch, don't ask. And then just have a picture of a dragon on the back.
Yeah.
It's actually not a bad
idea. Can I get one of
idea.
them before tomorrow? They have them at Target?
No, we'll just have to go to Hobby Lobby and get letters that we iron on. No problem.
Oh, silly you. Hobby Lobby's not open.
Oh, that's right. How dare I?
Before that we had, Jesus, why?
Was that your 5?
The
that was
Masters.
5? Hey, Masters. There's nothing better than a Masters Sunday when Tiger's in the hunt. That's what we have today.
On the list is Admissions Gate. Lori Loughlin facing tough time behind bars.
I'm sure
Apparently she was convinced that the prosecutors were bluffing and that she was going to be just fine. Now she's freaking out. What do you think? Do you think Aunt Becky will see any time behind bars?
I think none of these wealthy, attractive white people will see a second behind bars.
Really?
Not one.
Nothing. You don't think they'll make an example out of anyone?
No. Nope.
All right. Before that, we had the Masters.
Oh, my
and
God.
And before that,
Steve,
we had Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. The Dragons. Speaking of Dragons, red. Tiger Sunday, baby. It is here.
Normally
charging
what
on the
we
back
would do
9.
Is finish the list, but instead...
Let's talk about Rollins Lesnar. Is Lesnar going back to the UFC? It kind of appears that way in a bit of a squash match. Lesnar didn't get a lot of work.
Oh, boy. Broke it again. I don't know what happened. Headphones been working weird all day. Everything is just... Oh, there we go. Your microphone is back up.
You know how it goes. Electronics here. They just on the fritz half the time. I mean, Rousey broken hand, Steve, in the main event, WrestleMania 35.
Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Continue to listen and to share. You can download, subscribe, and review the show on iTunes, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Libsyn, and Spotify. StephenKyle.com. StephenKyle.com/merch. On Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at StephenKyle.
Yeah. Travis Branch, I apologize. You are still on the list. It's been 1 month.
Yeah.
You are on the list. You will be called sometime. for 2 Minutes of Awkward Conversation on the top of the list. Get those reviews in anywhere you listen so you can be on the list for 2 Minutes of Awkward Conversation.
Also, get your votes in. The final two matchups.
The Phlegm 4.
The Phlegm 4 posted on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so you can get your votes in. And we look forward to narrowing that down to the Tonsil 2 next week, and eventually sometime in June, July, or August, we'll finally announce the winner.
And again, this Saturday, Steve's Sideking Live Show, Grand Rapids, live at night. Hashtag garbage merch, hashtag invade Grand Rapids. Wear all your gear. Make sure you post that to social media.
Talk to you next week.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I ordered the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
If your go-to order is the best order, why change it? Grab a fave like the steak, egg, and cheese bagel or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles and breakfast deliciously at participating McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At Corewell Health, we know time doesn't heal all wounds. Hard work, innovation, and we do. We're fighting cancer with proton therapy and music therapy. We're turning back the clock on Parkinson's with deep brain stimulation and outsmarting blood clots in seconds instead of days. Because this is your time to take control of your health. And it's time to show that together, we can. Corewell Health.